A fourth Liberal term will add $250 billion of new inflationary debt.
More big news here. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, Mark Carney has announced his fiscal plans for Canada. He wants to increase the deficit more than Justin Trudeau. This is his fiscally balanced, responsible spending for Canada. The man is a disaster. Let's jump into this. So first up, we got more polling data. Look at this coming from Liberal pollster Main Street Media. 43.3% for Pierre Poilievre, 41.4% for the Liberals. Pierre taking the lead even in these polls. You'll notice the Bloc has taken third place over the NDP, 4.7%. Jagmeet is tanking this party to a non-existent level. And we're seeing this with posts like this, where we've got NDP Charlie Angus campaigning on Vancouver Island right now with "Do not vote Conserva Trump, save diversity inclusion in Canada." He's not even campaigning for his own party. He's campaigning against the Conservatives. Was this a dirty deal that the NDP did with the Liberals to essentially combine the parties without combining the parties? Moving on here, we've got CTV with "Most Canadians feel safe or safer than 10 years ago, Nanos poll finds." We know that's all bullcrap because nobody feels safer than we felt 10 years ago. I don't know what Nanos is doing here. He's making himself look like a fool. He needs to conduct his polls in a better way to properly represent Canadians. Someone's got a graph here. It says this is objectively measurable. Nano's population sample hasn't been paying attention, or ignorance is bliss. So we've got index for crime rates here in Canada, 2006 to 2023. And the next one here is Pew Pew related bad times in Canada, 2009 to 2023. No matter how you split it, you can see here this is divided Liberal and Conservative here. This was when Harper stepped down and Trudeau came in. The rates have gone up here with the Pew Pews. The rates have gone up. Bad times crime rates have also gone up. It's a little cut off. You guys can see all these here. I'm not going to read any of those off, but all of those have gone up. So once again, Nanos doing a bad job at his polling firm. Do better, Nick. In other news, we've got 3 Jewish-owned businesses were attacked last night in Thornhill. Meanwhile, we got Mark Carney today. I watched his entire press conference. It's awful. It's so boring. He just says catalyze and fundamental, the crisis, Donald Trump crisis. That's all he keeps talking about for 35 minutes straight, and then doesn't take questions from reporters. And one of the things he said is, we need to make sure people can leave their place of worship and be safe. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening in Canada if Mark Carney wins. This is inevitable result of the constant subtle encouragement if Islamic is by our government. The police claim to be present and monitoring this neighborhood. Yeah, I don't think so. Next up, we got this one from Marty up north that says, I can't believe Carney said this. He said, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms exist to protect Canadians from people like us on stage. Politicians who may use their power to override fundamental rights. The issue is not where you start, but where you stop. The fact that he's prime minister right now shows exactly the worth of our charter and our constitutions. The Liberals have made a mockery of both in the last decade. So as we see here, use of the War Measures Act, Emergencies Act in the last 50 years, it's both the Trudeaus. Got this one from Table Salt. It says the government of Canada pays out $4.8 million per year to an organization called the Canadian News Media Association. This association board is filled with media CEOs and the purpose to lobby for more money. Canadian News Media Association, Toronto, Ontario. Just a waste of money. Our money getting flushed down the toilet. In our bombshell news, so Mark Carney coming out with his budget, as Franco Terrazzano here, stating Carney's budget plan is a disaster. He will run higher deficits and add more debt than Trudeau. Carney has zero plan to balance the budget. Here are his deficits over the next 4 years. 2025, we've got $62.3 billion. We've got $59.9 billion. We've got $54.8. We've got $47.8 billion. That's an extra $225 billion extra debt. We're already pushed to the max because of Justin Trudeau, and Carney will be the nail in the coffin for Canada. But don't worry, America will thrive because Mark Carney is business partners with Team Trump over there. I mean, he moved his business from Canada to America as soon as Donald Trump got elected. If Donald Trump was the enemy, just think about this for a second. He keeps talking about how we're at war with America and Donald Trump's the enemy and it's a crisis. What kind of person would move their company to a crisis area, to the enemy's land, the enemy territory? Was there any American businesses moving their company to Berlin in 1939? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure when that war was going on, nobody was moving their business there. Yet Mark Carney moved his business to America after Trump got elected, but he's saying Canada's at war with Trump. He's saying Trump is this threat to Canada. It's a crisis. It's only a crisis for Canadians, not Mark Carney, because his money is protected in America. So this debt here is going to destroy our country. So he lied that he was going to balance the budget in 3 years. Yep. Yeah, he did lie. He always lies. The interest payments on the current federal debt is more than $1 billion per week. These debt servicing charges also exceed all combined federal health care transfer payments to the provinces and territories. That's a great point. How will Carney manage this deficit? Just as Pierre Poilievre accused him of doing in the past, print money, raising inflation, high interest rates. We've already lived this scenario. And then guess what? Life will get too expensive, but don't worry, Brookfield will be there for Canadians with tiny homes that we can rent from them. Carney's plan is to tax and spend until Canada goes bust, then sell off assets to China. Seems like it. That's called a structural deficit. It means deficit is unmanageable. Either our dollar is going down in value or interest rates going up. Take your pick. It doesn't take an economist to figure out Carney is a dud. And just to show you it comes from multiple source, Canada Spend's also posting this. And they've got the previous deficits here, which is a good reminder. So Trudeau spending 48.3, 61.9, 39.3. We've got the world events here at 90 and 327 billion, and then 39 billion. So in general, Mark Carney spending more money than Trudeau every year. So that guy said we don't need an economist. We have an economist here. Phillip, this guy here, you can see former policy advisor to Quebec's Minister of Finance. He says, I read the Liberal platform. I know a thing or two about government budgets, having worked for a finance minister. This plan will lead to Canada losing its AAA credit rating. Markets were expecting, wrongfully, something serious to come from an ex-central banker. They were wrong. Mark my words, they will react. The craziest thing is there is creative accounting regarding investments versus spending. Liberals will pretend that investments presume infrastructure, who knows, because there aren't any details, don't count in the deficits. So they'll be able to balance the budget by 2030. Unfortunately, their $250 billion in new spending will add to the debt. You just won't see it. Canada in its current state can't afford this. As an economist, I honestly was expecting more from Carney. The Liberals fudge the numbers all the time. Right now with our GDP, they include the Canada pension plan, but that's not money they can spend. They use that to boost us up, to push us up the ranks, but they're liars. So they have all sorts of creative accounting tricks to trick Canadians. This is just another one of them. It's not rocket science to see he's playing us to get richer while we struggle more, to where our country falls and ends up broken and defenseless. He has complete control. And guess who comes in and scoops up the pieces? It's either China or America. And clearly, Mark Carney is working with both Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. How this plays out, we don't know. Will Canadians wake up in time? We don't know. This is like a bad movie we're living in. Except many of us, like all of you, we know what's going to happen here. We see this playing out. Unfortunately, the rest of Canadians either don't want to get educated, refuse to see the truth. The election's going to tell us where we fall here. So Wyatt posting here, this National Post article, 130 billion new spending, no timeline to balance the budget. So Mark Carney, as that other comment said, he lied again about this. He said he would balance the budget. He's not going to balance the budget. He's going to jack up this. Everything's going to lead back to Brookfield and his investments in Brookfield. It's all very clear. As I'm getting a lot of new viewers on the channel here, let's just take a quick look at the chart that I've got here. So Mark Carney and all his connections to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all that. Well, I mean, look at the investments here, and I'm just filling this out. Brookfield has more investments than this, but just on the left side here are some of Brookfield's investments, and then some of them are over here too. Infinium, this is their green jet fuel that they lobbied the British government to then include for British Airways flights. They set up a solution to a problem. They create the problem by using government, and then there's their business to make money on it. They got Colonial Pipeline. We've got Brookfield and Cameo buying out Westinghouse Nuclear Services. We heard Mark Carney the other day talking about small modular reactor. Well, they've already got the solution there to scoop up the money on it. So as I fill this out, there's going to be more and more companies here because Brookfield has their fingers in everything. It's a monstrous company. Next up, we got Michael Barrett posting this one. Says, shameless, Carney is standing beside Liberal minister that promised to cut spending, then proceeded to spend a record $18 billion on consultants in 1 year. Just think of what you could do with $18 billion. If the government gave me $18 billion to go help Canadians, I could change this country with that kind of money. Instead, you got consultants like McKinsey that are well connected to Justin Trudeau. They scratch his back, he scratches their back, getting stinking rich off of worthless consultants.
I think we're talking here about
processus légal,
the legal process and external consultants, and we will merge a number of, not just a couple, but quite a few programs that are based on the same goals and objectives.
It's like an old folks home every time Carney has a photo op.
It's a very liberal budget, if I may say, or platform, in that the deficits in some ways get worse rather than better, and they're already pretty serious. And secondly, it places its reliance on the same thing that Justin Trudeau's government placed its reliance on, which is if we invest so much money publicly, we'll get many multiples of private sector spending to go with it. That really didn't happen very much under Justin Trudeau. And I think one question to ask Mr. Carney is, why does he think he can get private sector multiplier effects going when it was so unsuccessful in previous Liberal governments under Mr. Trudeau?
Because Carney's got a plan that works with Brookfield. He'll say whatever he needs to say to convince people, but the man lies. He's a chronic liar. We got Melissa posting this one saying Bloomberg just said if Carney is reelected, Canada's fiscal position will worsen and our debt to GDP unlikely to improve. Vote properly, Canada. Overall, the platform shows Canada's fiscal position worsening if Liberals reelect on April 28th. The party is currently leading in the polls. Canada is unlikely to improve debt to GDP ratio over the forecast horizon, which was previously a key fiscal guidepost offered by the Liberals under Trudeau. In response, we got Pierre Poilievre blasting Mark Carney on this reckless plan.
Mr. Carney's $130 billion in new spending promises. To be clear, these promises are above and beyond all of the spending Justin Trudeau had already budgeted for. If you add Justin Trudeau's promised deficits with the new spending from Mark Carney, a fourth Liberal term will add $250 billion of new inflationary debt that will drive up food costs, housing costs, and taxes. You cannot afford a fourth Liberal term. We need a change. On Conservatives, we'll bring that change in our platform.
So this is why Mark Carney didn't release his costed platform before the leadership debate, because Pierre Poilievre would have nailed him on it. Pierre already nailed him on inflation, which was on the Liberal website, which I believe they have removed now.
We will cut bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to corporate insiders and lobbyists to bring down deficits, taxes, and inflation. We will also grow revenue by about $70 billion by unlocking resource projects all across the country, as validated by economists, independent economists. The result is our Conservative plan for a change will mean you can afford a home, food, and a great life on a safe street. And that is the choice in this election. A fourth Liberal term of rising costs and crime, or a change with a new Conservative government that will cut your taxes, deliver affordable homes and food on safe streets.
Canada can't handle another debt binge. Trudeau created the cost of living crisis with Carney's help. Carney isn't going to help anyone but himself. Let's go. Yeah, this will be the end of Canada if Carney gets in and puts this plan in. We are done. Elitist, down to earth. Great poupon. In other news, we've got Jagmeet's crew here. What do we even say to this stuff anymore? Okay, so they're saying bad things about Modi. We'll skip ahead. Okay, we have to mute that, but this is Canada now? Sure doesn't look like Canada. What has happened to Canada? Like, what is this? Indian government. Okay, this has turned into a clown world. What the F is going on? Dangerous idea to pander to an organization aligned to T-word. That crap has no place in this country. Exactly. They're calling to end the leader of another country in the streets with a jail and a cardboard cutout is preposterous. Should be renamed Khalistan Parade. Yeah. So someone took a picture of the ballot in Pierre Poilievre's riding in Carleton, and this is what it looks like. This is preposterous. So this is the longest ballot group that's doing this. They put a whole bunch of independents on here to confuse people so they can't find the candidate that people want to vote for. So Pierre Poilievre is right in the middle here. It is alphabetical by last name, but he's right there. Just think how much this is costing taxpayers to print out ballots this long. I think this group who's doing this, they should have to pay for this. This group is anti-conservative. Oh, how eco and green is this to have thousands and thousands of ballots this long, cutting down so many trees for something so stupid? It's malicious and undermines democracy. Whatever loophole allows this needs to be closed immediately. Quite the announcement from Mark Carney. He thinks adding a whole bunch more debt will catalyze. It'll be fundamental to fight the crisis. Those are his three favorite words. His press conference was very telling. He talks in these very general platitudes, never any real substance, no meat on the bone, no real plan to do anything, just fear-mongering his audience there, the people watching, which, by the way, is his numbers are very low. I was comparing it today. Pierre Poilievre had a rally that ended just 20 minutes earlier, where Mark Carney had one that ended 3 hours earlier, and his had 978 views versus Pierre Poilievre's had over 6,000. So there is a real appetite for change in this country. The question is, do we have enough time to wake up Canadians to what Mark Carney is really going to bring to Canada?